Hello there! Welcome to the museum. Did you know that an artifact can tell us about how people lived, their culture, and the work they did? Let me show you. Grab your exploration kit and come with me. Look at this painting of the Singapore harbour around the 1850s. Can you see how Singapore used to look like? Singapore has always been a busy trading port. You would always see a variety of shipping vessels and fishing boats at the harbour. Let's follow that boat. We are going to Indonesia. Now, what do we have here? This is a baju panjang. It looks magnificent. Look closely at the lines, patterns, and colors on the fabric. How do you think these were created? The Indonesians used resist dye technique to create the patterns. One common method is to draw on the cloth with candle wax. The wax prevents the dye from seeping into the cloth. You can even try this technique at home using candle wax and watercolors. Let's continue with our journey. We are going to China. China is well known for its ceramics. This is an interesting artifact. Look closely at the ceramic fish tank. The potter has captured the pottery making process. Why do you think he did that? If you were a potter, how would you design your ceramic fish tank? Wow! I hope you had as much fun as I did learning about the past. Remember to use your artful conversations, stories from the past, to unravel the stories behind each artifact at the museum. Have fun!
Hi Mommy and Daddy. I know that going out with my tantrums can be a nightmare. However, with your patience and guidance, I will be better able to regulate my feelings and emotions. Over time, I will develop positive social and emotional skills, which will help me relate to people better and grow up confident and resilient. When challenges arise, don't solve them for me. Let me try and solve my own problems. This empowers me as I can learn how to be successful in life. Sometimes I cannot control my emotions and get upset with failure or when things don't go my way. Empathize with me and let me know that you understand my feelings. This will help me better handle challenges and pick myself up. Try to be calm and handle your emotions when I am around. I learn by observing your behavior, actions, and words. After all, I only learn from the best. I may be shy and lack the confidence to talk to other children or other adults. You could help me by showing me how to greet a person and strike up a simple conversation. This gives me the confidence to interact appropriately with other people. We all make mistakes, so it's alright if I do too. This way I can learn from them. This helps me handle disappointments better too. I don't know how to deal with problems, but all situations are opportunities for me to learn values and skills. After all, every cloud has a silver lining. My social-emotional development is important in my early years. Please encourage me to solve my own problems and help me regulate my feelings and emotions when things go wrong. Be a role model and teach me valuable life skills through your behavior, action, and words. Allow me to make mistakes and skip the negativity. This way, I will grow to be a strong, resilient, and confident person. For more tips from our educators, you can visit these websites.
short tree, take one.
She's quite tall. We can't do that. Really strong. She can go too taller and come back very fast. She has happy superpowers. She make me laugh until my belly ache. Make funny faces. When you fall down, she makes my tears disappear. Of course, my teacher is nice. She's magic. She teach me the stars and the planet in the sky, all the way to the space.
She always think out of the box.
We make sea creatures out of cardboard box. She told me there's a little bug. If we wash our hands and put some soap, then the virus will say, I'm dying.
Her virtual classes make all the difference when working from home.
My teacher knows everything in the world. My teacher is the coolest. With powers to make me smile and laugh. To encourage me to explore. To use the magic of storytelling. And to keep me safe.
To Miss Rochelle and to Zhang 老师.
Chi 老师 and Teacher Hannah.
Teacher Xiang Yi.
Miss Nani.
Chu 老师 and Miss Carissa.
Thank you so much.
We are always curious about our surroundings. We observe and interpret information and details in our minds, such as the sound of birds chirping, the touch of the bark of a tree, the color of the grass, or even the smell of flowers. Engage us in conversations about what we see, hear, touch, smell, and even taste. Did you know that museums are places where we can broaden and expand our thinking?
What do you think is happening in this painting?
I don't know.
Look at what the man is holding.
Oh, he is holding a camera. I think this man is on a holiday.
Why do you say that?
Because he is taking pictures of the mountains and lakes. There are people in a big boat. I think they are on a holiday too.
What would you be doing if you are in this painting?
I would be on that big boat with you and Daddy.
What an interesting sculpture. What do you think it is?
I think it is a giraffe. Maybe it is a dinosaur.
I can see why it could be a giraffe. Why do you think it could also be a dinosaur?
Because there are some dinosaurs with long necks too. Give us time to respond, as we need time to process and understand what we observe. Ask us open-ended questions so that we can explore and think about different perspectives and ideas. This helps enhance our observation skills and boosts our critical thinking skills. For more tips from our educators, you can visit these websites.
Join me as I set out on an adventure to discover the unique scent of spices, herbs, and plants in our multicultural society. Did you know the first spice garden in Singapore was set up back in 1822? Plants can also give you interesting colors to use as dye or be used to create unique print patterns. Spices, herbs, and plants add exciting flavors, aromas, and colors to food. Get in the kitchen and have fun trying out these delicious recipes with your child. To learn more about spices and its place in Singapore's history, culture, and heritage, Download Creative Conversations, The Scent of Spices. Visit the parks, museums, libraries, and other places in your neighborhood today.
What does it take to change your life?
Morning, teacher. Jen fell down and she broke her arm, so she can't.
Ever since she started her job, I keep wondering. When she was a little girl, she was already a ringleader. Always excited to play together, to experiment, to share her discoveries with everyone. Even during difficult times, she never gave up on them.
Morning, Janessa.
Today, it hasn't changed much, except that now, it makes a difference.
You fell trying to reach the stars? Let us take you there.
So, what does it take to change your life? Lots of passion and hard work. But at the end of the day, it matters. This is my daughter, and I'm proud she's a preschool teacher.
What a beautiful day! Let's head out and take a walk around our neighborhood. Look at the variety of food. Smells delicious. I love eating chicken rice. What's your favorite food? I always enjoy coming to the wet market. Look at the different kinds of fruits. They come in many shapes, sizes, and colors. What is your favorite fruit? Wow, there are many vehicles on the road. Busy, busy, busy like a bee. I wonder what these vehicles are used for. Where do you think these vehicles are going? Look at the different plants. Such a beautiful community garden. You can learn all about plants and how to care for the environment. What a great place to gather with your neighbors and friends. Join me on a journey of adventure, exploration, and discovery. Believe it or not, there are many things you can do together with your child around the neighborhood. Download the kit today and start exploring.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela from the Early Childhood Development Agency. A very good morning to Ms. Xue Ling, Minister of State for Social and Family Development. And also a good morning to Ms. Jamie Ang, CEO EGDA, and Ms. Ng Mi Ling, Assistant CEO. Partners from the National Library Board and the National Museum of Singapore, guests, ladies, and to all our viewers on Beanstalk Singapore Facebook page, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning for the launch of Creative Conversations Shaping Our Future. We have an interesting lineup for you this morning. You can join our guest panelists to know all about developing a strong conversational relationship with children. You can also spend time with your children doing a craft activity and some role playing. Here are a couple of materials you would need for the craft activity: a tissue box, toilet roll, satay sticks, tape, cardboard pieces, glue and scissors. During the event, we will also post 3 questions in the Facebook comment box. We have a question now in the comment box. Name 1 craft material you will need for the hands-on activity later. I've mentioned them earlier. Type your responses in the comment box. The lucky winners who answer the question correctly will get a $10 shopping voucher. Oh wait, I think I can hear something. It sounds like Miss Soon and Professor Elvis are having an interesting conversation. Let's join them now.
I am Professor Elvis. It is a real pleasure to have you with us this morning at the launch of our resource kit, Creative Conversations, Shaping Our Future.
Good morning, Professor Elvis. I'm delighted to join you and the early childhood educators, children, parents, and our community partners for this morning's launch. Professor Elvis, would you like to share more about this resource kit?
Sure, I would be glad to. The resource kit is inspired by some sculptures of early settlers at Boat Quay when my niece and I were strolling along the Singapore River. We were quite fascinated by them and decided to visit the National Museum of Singapore to learn more about Singapore's rich history and heritage.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Learning about our history and heritage gives us a sense of rootedness, identity, and belonging. For children especially, it helps them understand the world their parents, grandparents, and ancestors live in. Their way of life, their dreams, their struggles, their daily pleasures, their values, etc. These are useful knowledge that help shape children's understanding and lives. We do need to create more opportunities for our children to connect with the past. It will also help them relate to people from diverse backgrounds. We are, after all, living in a multiracial and multicultural society.
Yes, indeed, Miss Soon. And this is what the resource kit does. Educators and parents can use the specially designed story and activity cards in the resource kit to help children learn about the early settlers, their trades and occupations. There are also ideas for children to role play, for example, as a rickshaw puller to overcome the challenges at work. Through these activities, children can develop empathy and compassion, which are important aspects of social-emotional development. Miss Soon, do you agree that learning doesn't have to be confined to 4 walls? In fact, the whole world is full of opportunities and resources for children to learn and grow?
You are right, Professor Elvis. Young children are active learners and learn through their senses. They are constantly learning, whether in the classroom or outside of it. The experiences we provide for our children and the way we interact and communicate with them are important for their healthy brain development. And this can take place anywhere. We can help children learn by giving them opportunities to explore a variety of environments and interact with different things, materials, and people. Let me share a quote from Margaret Macmillan, a nursery school pioneer. The best classroom and the richest cupboard is roofed only by the sky. The best part of this is that it is right outside our doorstep. You don't have to go far.
So true. Miss Soon, what are some places in Singapore we can bring children to enhance their exploration and learning?
The possibilities are endless. There are places within our neighborhood where we can enhance our children's appreciation of history, heritage, and culture. Simple things like looking out for street and shop signs and other prints around you can lead to interesting conversations. These tell us lots about the history and heritage of our neighborhoods. We can also take our children to the hawker centers and food courts, as our hawker culture is one of the legacies of our early settlers. These places offer a good opportunity for them to learn about food, which is an important part of our culture. Do encourage our children to have a chat with the hawkers to find out what they do, their day-to-day experiences, and how they handle challenges. Such conversations can imbibe in them our timeless values, such as hard work, determination, and resilience.
Indeed, Miss Sun. Places like museums and libraries are good environments too. There are many things in these places to stimulate learning opportunities. It is with this in mind that we have developed the Creative Conversations Resource Kit to provide practical tips for educators and parents to use these community resources for children to find out about the contributions of our early settlers.
This is great. Learning about the past and experiences of early settlers at such historical sites can allow children to develop a sense of empathy for others while stimulating their imagination. They can also connect and reflect on the past and the values which have influenced and shaped us as a multiracial and multicultural society.
Learning becomes more meaningful and relevant when it is experiential and allows our children to interact with the real world.
Apart from learning about cultural heritage, the children can also discover the rich natural heritage of Singapore. Professor Elvis, I was looking through the resource kit and note that it has suggested visits to one of our parks too, such as the Singapore Botanic Gardens. This place is a great resource. While we stimulate their sense of wonder and interest in our flora and fauna, they can also learn how to care and conserve our natural heritage. We want them to continue Singapore's distinction of being a city in a garden.
Miss Sun, I often hear this saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Do you find this to be true from your experiences? And how can we do this?
Indeed, bringing up children involves more than the parents. Parents, preschools, and the community can come together to influence and strengthen a child's learning and educational outcomes. On this note, I would like to thank our ECDA Fellows, educators, and art and drama specialists for designing this resource kit. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to the National Library Board and the National Museum of Singapore for collaborating with ECDA on this initiative. The resource kit will be distributed to all preschools. I encourage our early childhood educators and parents to make use of it to support our children's holistic development. With the entire village on board, I am hopeful that we will be able to provide a good start for every child.
Thank you, Miss Sun. I couldn't agree more that it is important for educators, parents, and our community to work together to provide the best possible experiences for our young children. This is why we are here this morning to celebrate the outcome of our partnerships, the launch of Creative Conversations, Shaping Our Future. Look, Miss Sun, this is the same rickshaw that my niece and I saw at the National Museum of Singapore.
There seems to be another adventure brewing, Professor Elvis.
Yes, looks like another exciting adventure is happening. Oh, I think it wants to transport me somewhere. Miss Sun, it has been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Have a pleasant journey, Professor Elvis. It was nice meeting you. Bye.
Do come along with me and Bernice as we set off on our thrilling adventure.
Oh, Uncle Elvis, what are those sculptures? Look at what I found, Uncle Elvis.
What's happening? We seem to have traveled back in time. Bernice, do you know what a rubber tapper does?
Wow, this looks so different from the coffee shops and cafes we have today.
Amas travel from faraway places to work for families in Singapore.
Uncle Elvis, why are they washing their clothes by the river bank?
Whoa! Who were the early settlers? Why did they come to Singapore? What were their occupations? To find out more about our adventure, keep a lookout for creative conversations shaping our future.
Thank you, Ms. Soon and Professor Elvis. We had an exciting time collaborating with various partners in developing this resource kit. A big thank you to the National Library Board, the National Museum of Singapore, our early childhood professionals, Jacqueline, Suhana, Jamie, Mageswari, and our art and drama specialists, Seedfan, Ivania, and Elaine, for making this resource kit possible. You can also download the resource kit from the link or QR code. Preschool teachers and parents, we invite you to set off on an exciting adventure with your children to discover Singapore's rich history and heritage when you are able to do so. Through the occupations of some of our early settlers, our children can learn how they overcame the many hardships and challenges with grit, perseverance, and resilience. In fact, when you're having these conversations with your children, you're shaping their brains and strengthening their language, cognition, and social and emotional foundations. This raises two important questions. Why developing a strong conversational relationship with your young children matters, and what we can do to strengthen this. We have with us this morning Dr. Jacqueline Chang, Dr. Jared Ng, and Ms. Cheryl Wee. Good morning and a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. Well, Jackie, I have a question. Why do conversations matter?
Conversations, Angela. Conversations with adults on a variety of topics really help to support children's development in different areas. And more importantly, having reciprocal conversations, going back and forth. These help children to share and exchange their thoughts, feelings, and ideas with the significant people in their lives. And conversations need not be serious sit-down sessions. Some of the more interesting conversations, in fact, can be had with children during playtime or play-based activities. For instance, the activities in the resource kit, such as creating puppets, making Play-Doh, and also creating a diorama, these offer opportunities to have stimulating conversations in a relaxed and fun manner.
Well, Jackie, thank you. Yes, you're right. When children are relaxed and having fun, conversations will certainly flow. It is also interesting that you mentioned conversations that are reciprocal. We will come back to this point a little later. Jared, there is a saying that conversation is relationship. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, thanks, Angela. I think we form relationships and we talk to people, and really just like us, children are no different. And conversation is really not just about words. I think children use both verbal and non-verbal cues to communicate when they share, when they show, when they question, when they request. And non-verbal cues will include things like making eye contact, facial expression, the tones and the volume of the voice, and hand gestures that's used. That's why it's very important to pay attention to these aspects of the conversation as well when we talk to our kids. Having positive conversations certainly builds strong relationship. What we say, how we say it, and the messages we implicitly communicate can impact on the relationship. And thus it makes a lot of sense for us to have a vested interest in having conversations with the children. So using phrases like, hey, tell me more, or I'm interested in what you have to say, that is an interesting idea. All this shows the kids that we are genuinely interested in them as individuals, and these are really key to making, nurturing a meaningful relationship.
Thank you, Jared. Cheryl, we come to you. Could you share your perspective as a parent on the importance of having conversations?
So I think being a young parent, right, my knowledge comes from what my parents actually did with us. So my parents were very busy working parents, and myself, I'm a working mom as well. And then I have 2 kids and 1 on the way. So I think having conversations would actually really help to foster that bond in the relationship and having that quality time together. And hearing from these 2 professionals now, I understand even more deeper and the importance of having conversations to foster that relationship. So yes.
You have Mark, he's
Yes. He's 3.
He's 3.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us about the conversations you have with him?
So Mark, he's actually a very talkative boy, and he's starting to be at this why phase, and he would ask why on certain things like why do we have hair or just random things. So it's actually a very cute phase right now. So we try to engage him, and sometimes the things that he say really can surprise us. And I think back to the kit where we were playing out this week, right? Especially because we are all at home, we did the maze, and I said to him about the rubber tapper. Had to wake up early in the morning and go through the maze, and he'd be like, "Why? Why must we go through? Why lost?" And then sometimes we get stuck. Why are we stuck? So that kind of thing actually makes me think as a parent as well. How am I going to explain to him certain things? I think it's a very good engaging activity to also widen his knowledge about Singapore's history.
That's right, Cheryl. Asking questions is an important part of cognitive development, wanting to find out more, figuring out things, etc., etc. Thank you very much for that. Well, Jackie, coming back to your point about conversations being reciprocal, could you elaborate a little more on this?
Well, I'll be happy to. Conversations actually are very much like a game of table tennis. Educators will be familiar with the 3 R's that contribute to relationship building and meaningful conversations. And it's about being respectful, responsive, and reciprocal. So respect can be seen in how each person takes turns to listen attentively before speaking. Conversations that are back and forth with each person taking turns to respond to what the other person has said. And this reciprocal interaction sustains conversations. In fact, it is like a conversational duet and not dominated by only one person. And in such conversations, we can certainly apply the 3 R's, and quite appropriately to the conversations that the activities in the resource kit will generate.
Thank you, Jackie. I quite like the phrase having a conversational duet. Thank you for that. Cheryl, coming back to you, what are some ways in which you engage Mark in conversations?
Because Mark is still quite young, so the conversation I've kept very simple and always mostly what he likes and what he enjoys and what he can relate to. So, for example, let's say using the kit again, when I was telling the story about the rubber tapper Ah Cheng, and maybe he doesn't really know who is this person, but when I change up the names a little bit, he'd be like, oh, okay. So engaging him would I have to keep in mind that it's something that he can understand, he can relate, and stories that. So for example, I use that story and put it into a bedtime story, but I try to put it into a context of something that he would, maybe I change up the names, So yeah, I think that's one way I engage him. What else? Oh, sorry, yes, one thing. Recently, he has been into roosters because he heard a chicken nearby my house, and then it was making a cuckoo sound, and then he's very excited when he does that, and he says the rooster does the cock-a-doodle-doo, right? So when I was telling him the story of the rubber tapper, I said, oh, it's very early in the morning, and when so early in the morning, the rooster will crow. And how does the rooster crow? So he feels that he can participate by contributing that rooster crow, and then he gets more engaged in it.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. Yes, it is important to be tuned into the different developmental milestones that our children go through, and to be very observant about their interests, and that's how you kind of get him into the conversation. Thank you for that. Coming back to you, Jared, we do know that conversations have the power to strengthen or even derail a relationship. What would be some do's and don'ts?
Okay, so I think what we want our kids to learn from to build a relationship is something that we expect to get from adults as well. I think recently all of us are working from home. Many of us are working from home, and we do spend a lot more time with kids. So for example, a parent working from home may be talking to the child. The child may come up to mommy or daddy with a certain request or want to talk about their day. The parents may use the correct grammar. The contents are appropriate, the vocab used may all be good, but yet their eyes are glued to the screen, they are doing their own work, and not making eye contact with the child. And I don't think that is a good conversation. And the child would know. The child would know that mommy and daddy are not showing me the attention, which is important to build relationship during a conversation. So you can imagine if this happened very regularly, the child may go away with the idea that I'm not important, or what I'm saying doesn't matter to mommy and daddy, and that certainly affects the relationship in a negative way.
I do agree with you, Jared. We really need to think about the subtle messages that we are conveying through our conversations. Jackie, could you recommend some strategies that you've used as an educator?
Sure. I have actually used some strategies that have served me very well. For example, we remind, educators and parents to, as best as possible, give their full attention, like what Jared has said, and not be distracted. It is a challenge, but we have to put in effort there. And to also listen attentively to what our children are sharing, even though we may not always understand everything they are saying. And it helps to smile and nod, because this will encourage children and show that you are interested. One other thing that adults can do is to echo and paraphrase what children say, because this will acknowledge that we heard them correctly. Yeah? And we should, of course, as adults, respond to the children's questions and their wonderings, but briefly and simply. No long explanations or lectures, appropriate to their developmental age. And of course, a good thing will always be to ask questions and to offer possible examples to clarify what they mean.
Thank you for that, Jackie. Useful indeed. Could you tell us a little more about the types of questions that would really get children immersed in conversations?
Questions that support quality conversations are often those that require more than a one-word answer, and questions that make use of the what, who, how, when, and why, questions can all be paraphrased in an open-ended way to extend the quality and the depth of conversations. And it would include questions like, for example, what are some ways that we could go about doing, whatever, or who might be the persons who could support us or help us in doing something? How could we do this differently? Or when was a time where you felt that, this was difficult? Or why do you think you can or cannot? So these open up, opportunities for deeper conversations.
Most useful indeed, Jackie. I really must take down this script for my own two girls, Siobhan and Ashlyn. Jared, coming back to you, how can we use conversations to strengthen children's emotional resilience, and perhaps you could share a couple of strategies?
Okay. So all healthy relationships are really anchored in emotional self-regulation. I think as adults, we do need to contain our own negative emotions too, be it whether you're frustrated, you're upset, you're angry, you're irritated. When we talk to our kids, I think many of times we may encounter a bad day, whether at work, frustration, other family members, and it's really important not to take this out on the kids. They know it, they feel it. They may think that mommy and daddy are angry with me for something they hadn't done, which is quite common. So instead, when we talk to the child, we can use this as an opportunity to identify the emotion. I think it's all right to let the child know that mommy and daddy are quite upset today, we are quite angry. We don't have to go into details and make this into a ventilating or complaining session. But we use this as a teaching moment to identify emotion and assure the child that no, it's not because of you. And to let the child know that the steps that you're taking to solve this problem that you have. Yeah.
Thank you. The activities in the resource kit, it creates opportunities for children to think about what it means to be resilient, to persevere, develop empathy and compassion, among others. What would be some other practical ways to nurture positive values and dispositions?
Okay. I always advocate the use of stories. I think stories are powerful, especially for young kids. I think we should use age-appropriate examples. I think sometimes when parents tell story, I mean myself included, we tend to use stories from the past, which the child may not identify with. Like I could talk about Popeye the Sailor Man. I don't know who watches it nowadays, but if I keep using those stories, my kid would think that I'm talking about, I don't know, some stranger. We should know our children. We should get to know what they are watching, what they are reading. And this also demonstrates to the kid that you are interested in his or her life. I'll give you this example. I think when my kids were younger, a few years ago, there was this cartoon that came out, Inside Out, where you have this girl, Riley, with all kinds of emotions in her: fear, anger, disgust, joy, sadness. And I use that as an opportunity to let my children know that you don't have to be joyful all the time. Bad things can happen to you, and you can be fearful, you can be anxious, you can be sad. And it's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to feel those emotions. Just because you did something wrong doesn't mean that mommy and daddy will love you any less. I think just because you are fearful doesn't make you a coward. I think all these are just what makes my kid a person, and we communicate this to them. And we ask them, I mean, they were still young at that time, now they are a little bit older. When they were young, we just take out a picture and ask them, so which are you today? Are you fearful? Are you joyful? And how much of it? Who is controlling you? And then we use that as an opportunity then for the kid to bring us stories or events from the day. And then we sort of talk them through what happened to them in the day. That's really helpful.
Thank you for those insights and great practical examples as well, Jared. Thank you very much. In fact, we now have a question from the audience about partnerships. And Cheryl, soon to be mother of 3, congratulations. Could you also tell us how parents can work together with educators to support their learning?
So I agree very much with Dr. Jared and Dr. Jackie that parental conversation with the child is very important. It has to be 2 ways. But I also think it's very important with the educators and to actually work with the educators, because for Mark, I feel that it's very important to be involved with what is happening in school. So the school is very nice. They have like a portal. We know what they are doing in school this week and what's going to happen next week. And I'll ask him what is he doing, what he has learned. So one of his favorite classes is speech and drama. So I'll ask Mark, what do you learn in school today? And he'll say, oh, teacher, Teacher Kokela says, please pass the applesauce. So one day I actually asked his school teacher, what does it mean? Because every time I ask him, he'll say, please pass the applesauce. And the teacher explained, oh, because it was like a phrase, a catchphrase for them to remember to be nice to others, to help people. So, oh, I understand what he's trying to say. And another thing also is when he was in school, the school would be very proactive in getting him to present a story or present his homework with the parents, and he'll be very proud of it. So I asked him, can you do the same for Mimi at home and teach her? So he feels like he is the teacher now in school, and he gets really excited. So I think it kind of works, with the educators, the parents, and then the child, and then the dynamics at home.
Well, thank you. You're right. You're absolutely right, Cheryl. I mean, the connection between home and preschool is one that reaps, tremendous benefits for young children, and it's so good for the child to have his mom and dad, to be really connected and really involved in what's happening in preschool, and likewise, for educators to know what's happening at home, and and that sort of builds a very holistic profile of the child, and they be able to, plan curriculum experiences that are, tuned to each child's needs. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Jackie, Jared, and Cheryl, it has been a totally interesting discussion this morning, and thank you so much for making time. Thank you, and I hope you have a good day. Well, engaging our children in conversations is an important part of their development. How can we do this? Well, I think Professor Elvis is waiting to show us.
Do you know where I am right now? It's a place where we can find interesting artifacts, sculptures, and treasures from the past. That's right, I'm at the National Museum of Singapore. There's something special here that I would like to share with you. Can you guess what it is? Now, allow me to present to you this rickshaw. Can you tell me what colors do you see on the rickshaw? And what shapes can you spot? also very curious. What is the rickshaw made up of? Let's take a closer look.
Hello, I can answer that question.
Oh, that's good. Hi, I'm Professor Elvis.
Hello, Professor Elvis. I am Ah Cheng, the rickshaw puller. I am one of the early settlers of Singapore. This rickshaw is made up of wood, metal, and finished with lacquer. It is a special type of liquid that protects materials such as wood and metal. Professor Elvis, do you know what the wheels are made of?
I know. They're made of rubber, right?
Well, back in the olden days, technology was not that advanced. So, the wheels we used on the rickshaw were made from wood.
Wow, they sure look sturdy. Ah Cheng, look at what I have found.
Professor Elvis, you do have sharp eyes.
What is this for?
That's a suspension gear. Similar to the ones on a bicycle, the suspension gear works as a spring. When the rickshaw moves on the bumpy road, it helps reduce jolting and prevent the seats from bouncing up and down. It makes the ride a little more comfortable for the passenger.
I wonder why there are spokes in the wheel. What do you think is the purpose of the spokes? It seems that this rickshaw can only ferry one person at a time. What else do you use a rickshaw for?
In the 1950s, rickshaw pullers were in high demand because rickshaws were the most popular and cheaper mode of transport. Besides ferrying people to their destinations, rickshaws even provided ambulance services.
That's truly amazing.
They were also used to transport goods. This is where the goods were placed.
I wonder what it would be like to work as a rickshaw puller. What happens when it rains?
Well, Professor Elvis, allow me to share my experience. It's actually a very tiring and challenging job. We wore large straw hats to protect us from the sun and rain. Back then, we did not have proper footwear, so most of us ran barefooted. This could be dangerous, as sharp objects or jagged floor might hurt us anytime. Our backs tended to get injured because we carried heavy objects and people. On top of that, most of us worked for long hours, but we earned only 30 to 40 cents a day.
Oh dear, can you imagine working in conditions like these? Imagine one of your rickshaw puller friends has injured himself at work and is unable to work. What do you think we can do to help him? It must have been really tough on you, Ah Cheng.
Yes, it was indeed challenging being a rickshaw puller. However, we love our families and we needed to work hard to provide for them. So it's important for us to build determination, perseverance, and resilience to overcome the struggles and hardships in our lives.
Thank you, Ah Cheng. Early settlers like yourselves have certainly contributed towards shaping the Singapore of today. I feel that I have learned so much about rickshaw pullers and the challenges endured by our early settlers. Values such as determination, perseverance, and resilience are important. Why do you think these values are important? How do we practice these values in our lives? What are other values that you think are important? I hope you have enjoyed discovering more about the rickshaw and the lives of our early settlers. Let's continue to explore and celebrate our shared history and heritage. These are what make being Singaporean unique. Goodbye.
That was a quick glimpse into how questions about an artifact are a great way to get children talking and having stimulating conversations with them. The best part is that these types of questions can be used anywhere and anytime. Do check out the resource kit for more of such questions. In fact, we have a second question in the comment box now. Which museum is mentioned in the resource kit? Type your answers in the comment box. Be one of the 10 lucky winners to answer the question correctly and get a $10 shopping voucher. Did you know that art and craft, role-playing and dramatizing can nurture creativity and imagination? It can also help with language and communication skills, regulating one's emotions, expressing oneself, and even confidence building. Well, the list goes on. It's time to gather your materials and head over to Seed Fund, Elaine and Ivania. They have some exciting activities waiting just for you.
Hi, I'm Elaine.
And I'm Seed Fund. We are early childhood educators who use art and drama to spark creativity and imagination in young children.
Seed Fund, have you heard about the latest adventure of Professor Elvis and his niece Bernice?
Oh yes, it is exciting. I also learned a lot about Singapore's rich history and heritage, especially finding out more about the lives of some of our early settlers and the values they held.
Shall I read to you an excerpt from the adventure when they met one of the early settlers? This is from page 3 of the story cards from the resource kit.
Sure, Elaine.
The swirling mist and wind clear up. We land firmly on the hard, flat seats of a rickshaw. I look around in astonishment. There are rickshaws all over the dusty street and people hurrying about. Whoa, it seems like we have traveled back in time. Excuse me, why are you sitting in my rickshaw? A man with a large straw hat interrupts. Oh, hello, I'm Professor Elvis, and this is my niece Bernice. Something strange has happened, and we find ourselves right here. The man looks amazed and extends his hand. My name is Ah Cheng. I am a rickshaw puller, and my job is to ferry people to their destinations. Sometimes I carry goods to the port as well. Would you like me to show you around? Bernice and I exchange excited glances and nod our heads. Oh no, oh dear. What am I going to
Seed Fund,
do you hear someone in distress?
Yes, I do. Let's go and find out what is happening.
Oh no, oh dear. What am I going to do?
Hello, are you alright? You look really sad. Did something happen? My name is Seed Fund. What can I do to help you?
My name is Ah Cheng. I am a rickshaw puller, and my job is to ferry people to their destinations. And sometimes I help to carry goods to the port too. But I just had an accident, and my rickshaw is damaged. I don't know what to do. I'm so worried.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry to hear that, Ah Cheng. Friends, what can we do to help Ah Cheng? Yes, give him some money, but that will only help him for a day. How shall we help him? Did you say give him another rickshaw? That gives me an idea. Let's build a rickshaw for Ah Cheng.
Hi, I'm Ivania, an early childhood art educator. Before we start building a rickshaw for Ah Cheng, let's take a close look at the rickshaw. What do you see? Okay, so I'm hearing 2 big wheels, a seat, and handles for the rickshaw puller to pull the rickshaw. Okay, so let's start building a rickshaw. So these are some of the materials we'll need: cardboard pieces, toilet roll, tape, glue, a pair of scissors, satay sticks, tissue box, and other materials you can find at home. Okay, so let's start with the base of our rickshaw. We will need a cardboard piece that's around 15 by 15 cm, and then 3 satay sticks. If you do not have satay sticks at home, what materials can we use? Yep, we can try using those materials you suggested, or you can use straws, chopsticks, or even ice cream sticks. Place 2 satay sticks parallel to each other on a cardboard piece, with some space between them. And then another one perpendicular to the 2 sticks like that. Then tape them down. To complete the base of the rickshaw, tape a smaller piece of cardboard on top of the 2 satay sticks sticking out to complete the rickshaw handle. We are now done with the base on the handle of the rickshaw. Let's build the seat of the rickshaw. What can we use to build the seat of the rickshaw? Yeah, those are great ideas. Okay, so you can also use tissue boxes, toilet rolls, sponge like that, plastic containers that you have at home. For our rickshaw, we've decided on the tissue box. Once you've decided on what you would like to use for the seat of the rickshaw, tape it down to the base of this rickshaw. So last but not least, let's complete the rickshaw by adding the 2 big wheels. So we will need cardboard piece that cut out in circles with the hole in the center. Tape or glue the 2 circle cardboard pieces on the side of the rickshaw. So there we go, our rickshaw for Ah Cheng.
Look at the rickshaw we built for Ah Cheng. Thank you, Ivania, for teaching us.
Through role-playing and dramatization, we can help our children connect emotionally by putting themselves in the shoes of the characters. It raises their self-awareness and empathy. They also develop a better understanding of the world around them. More importantly, a respect for diversity.
Thank you, Sitvan, Elaine, and Ivania. If you think that was fun, check out the resource kit for more of such activities. Well, we have a final question in the comment box. Where can you download Creative Conversations Shaping Our Future? Type your answers in the comment box. This is the final call to get a $10 shopping voucher. Be one of the 10 lucky winners to answer the question correctly. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this morning's program. I hope you had fun. Once again, thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. Do keep yourselves and your loved ones safe and well. Bye for now.